Strevens, what does this competition mean to you personally?
Yeah, I'm probably the same as pretty much every football fan that lives in England, and probably across the world. I think it's the biggest competition in the world. It's amazing that we can be a non-league club like we are, and now we're in the first round where you can come up against league teams. And obviously every non-league team that starts out and wants to get into the third round and try and get a big glamour tie. So yeah, it's an amazing competition. Felt very privileged to be in it as a player, and now also as a manager.
What sort of test are you expecting to face tomorrow?
A tough one, because of the fact of, obviously I went there as a player 4 or 5 years ago now. I know how tough a game we had. We ended up coming through the game 2-0, but they certainly had some chances on the day. Roscoe saved a penny, so it was a tough place to go. And we know, I think they're 7th in their league at the moment, but they've got games in hand because they've done so well in this competition and because they're doing well in the FA Trophy as well. They progressed through the rounds there. So we're expecting a tough game, especially that it's an away game. It showed in the last round against Welling. When you go away to these teams, it's you have to be up for the battle. Obviously, try and show your quality a little bit as well in the day. We're looking forward to it, but we know it'll be a tough game.
Any injury worries ahead of the game?
No, not any more injury worries. We're hoping that Marcus Barnes will be back involved in the squad from last week, and Joe Partington and Rayleigh Johnson have done a little bit of work now as well. So they may be back involved. I'm not so sure whether they're ready to start a game of football, but they'll be in and around the group tomorrow. It's just whether we involve them or not, which we're going to decide overnight.
How much have you learned about your squad over the past month with all these injury problems that you've had? And it looks like results haven't taken too much of a dent from that either. Yeah,
I think that's probably been the proudest part of this last month. We only had one defeat last month. That was away to Dover, the last game of the month. Could we have picked up a few more wins? I think we possibly could have done. But when I look at it and reflect on the major players we've had out missing, having Wince missing from the start of the season has been a real big blow, and then Raiders being out just over 2 months now, which has been obviously significant length of time as well. So it's given an opportunity for some of the younger boys to step up, and they've really shown what they can do. You think of the amount of game time that people like Rob Atkinson's had now, and Sam Smart, young Charlie that we've got known from Bournemouth has filled in a few different positions for us now, is doing really well. And obviously in the last couple of weeks as well, Bearish has really stepped up and shown how good a player he is, and it's pleasing as a manager to see these young boys doing. I also think the fans want to see the young local talent doing well, so it's about them getting game time. They probably got it a little bit earlier than maybe we'd have thought if all the boys would have been fit, but they've taken it with both hands, and that's only going to be a good thing for us moving forward for the rest of the season. We're hoping we're coming out the other side of our injury problems we've had now, but to have a strong squad for the rest of the season, hopefully without injuries, and these young lads kicking on even more, hopefully we'll show that in the second half of the season. You
mentioned the young lads there, but also Scott Rendell's come into a bit of form in the last few games. How pleased have you been with him?
Yeah, look, Renz is an excellent player. He was probably as hard on himself at the start of this season as I was as a manager. Everyone's different. Last year he got relegated with Aldershot. It was a tough year. He helped out Gary Waddock a little bit with on and off the pitch, with the coaching stuff as well. So I think in joining this year, we had to be a little bit patient with him. People didn't know that, obviously fans and stuff like that. But I think last year, he was on a bad run towards the end of the season at Aldershot. I think it probably drained a lot of them. I spoke to Gary Waddock himself, and he said, it was a tough year last year. So I imagine all the players felt the same. So Renz has been patient, waited his time. Obviously Willow and Ty were the two started to start the season. Then Barnsley come in and done great. But I played him away at Welling, which was a tough away game, and I thought he was one of our better players on the day. I'd say deserved to start the next game. The next game he scored 2 goals against Welling. Then we were away to Woking, scored, and then obviously the weekend just gone, he scored a hat-trick. So there's never been a worry for me in terms of Renz's ability and his quality as a player, because obviously I played with him and known him for a number of years. So I've always been the same. The right service goes in the box to Ty and Renz aerially, and obviously his penalty record speaks for itself. He's very cool in penalty situations as well. So he's doing really well, and it's pleasing to see as well, because like I'm saying, he beat himself up more than anyone else at the start of the season. So to see his confidence obviously coming back with the goals, and I think the fans are really starting to see how good a player he is as well now.
And finally, how much do you think that an FA Cup run could help our league campaign this season?
Yeah, I think so. People look at it, can look at it one of two ways. Sometimes we have a lot of FA Cup fixtures or FA Trophy fixtures, then it piles up towards the end of the season. This league's relentless that we play in, and so you have a little laugh about it. You hear people like Liverpool and the top teams moaning about how many games they have to play, but anyone that comes from Spence any time in the National League, we played 20 league games already now. This is going to be our third FA Cup game, mixed in with the Hampshire Senior Cup, stuff like that, you know, so we're up to 24 games we're up to. That's more than any of them we're playing with smaller squads. So yeah, look, you look at it one or two ways. I want to do really well in the FA Cup, so I realise how important it is to the fans and to the club. And you also look at a bit of inspiration from Lincoln a few years ago. You know, they got to the quarterfinals of the FA Cup and won the league. So it's a mentality. You know, if you're doing well in it, it could give you a bit of confidence and really kick you on. Also, obviously, I was involved when Chris Todd was manager here, and we had a real good FA Cup run, and maybe that slightly hindered our league performances at times, just because we were playing a lot of games. But I've got a good belief in the squad, and we want to go as far as we can. If that means we get to the third, fourth round, that'd be amazing for us and for the club as well, the financial stuff that comes along with that. But as a manager, probably the bread and butter is I want to do really well in the league again. If I can sprinkle that in with an FA Cup like that, that'd be amazing.